All right, guys, to watch this video for Wednesday, November 18th, showing you the SPY daily chart. And as has happened a few times in the last couple weeks, we've got another day where it closed and opened at pretty darn close to the same price, which ends up with a candle looking like a little plus sign, right? You had that here, today, here, which can be frustrating for day trading, but it really wasn't in the chat room. For those of you that made it today, a couple highlights before I go into the watch list video. Workhorse, WKHS, I liked the daily chart. It was already on our overnight list, and I called it right there. Second mouse through 2050, right? So there's the initial, these are 5-minute candles. The initial push to 2060. You can see over this 2080 area was kind of like a short-term breakout on the chart, right? So it's already on watch, hits 2060, comes back down. I called a second mouse, which is through 2050, which is right through where my cursor is. So there we go. We get that. We get the high of day break, which is also almost a 2-day high break, and the day before and the day before and so on. You can kind of see going back, there's the second mouse 2050. You had kind of a breakout area, right? And so it ended up going through 22 for a $1.69 a share on about 25 cents risk. That was a nice little trade. I also called Blink, BLNK. Back through 13, I'll switch to 5-minute candles to show you. So it gapped up right before the opening bell. I said, we already had our morning gap playlist. I said, guys, let's add Blink to the list, BLNK. So it comes back down, puts in a lower high, and then starts to curl back up. Called this back through I said either over this high or through 13. I actually took it through 13. Ended up going over 1450. Again, on about 25 cents risk. You notice the entries, when we're right, there's no guesswork. It just goes, right? We don't have to worry about, did we screw up? That doesn't always happen, but when that's what we strive for. Those are the kind of inflection point entries that we like. Nailing the entry can make the rest of trading so much easier. Also called Solo back through 640. So I'll show you what it looked like at the time. Whoops. Come on. There we go. It looked about like that. The reason I called it, for one, it's a recent high flyer. These are 5-minute candles. This was the opening candle today. Goes up to 640, pulls back and starts to curl back up. My reason for a 640 break is it's a new high of day again, right? Above the earlier high. And look, yesterday's high right there, a nickel above 645. So if we get through the high, good chance we break through yesterday's high and then continue the run from the recent high flyer action, right? And that's exactly what happened. It ended up going to, I think, $7 from 640. Not huge, but a nice little trade. And also Candy, and I want to give, hang on a second, I think I took a screenshot. Yeah, there it is. I took a screenshot and labeled it so you could see. This was Daniel's post in chat. You can see it was at 10:32 this morning. KNDI rebate Texas PR. So they put out a PR saying, people buy one of their vehicles in Texas, they're going to get a rebate. So we got the heads up that there was news. I jumped on the mic and said, hey, I like what he posted. And it also had topped out at 850. So I said you could either Tokyo it before it breaks or take the 850 break. I went ahead and made it get to 850. There's my buy with a limit of 850, and there's my fill at exactly 850, right as it was breaking the high of day. Another entry that just didn't look back. All right, so they're fast forwarding. And it ended up going up like $2 from there. I think it went to 1048, so $1.98 on about a quarter risk. But the beauty of it was the teamwork there with Daniel posting the news. You see that all the time in the chat room, right? Love the teamwork. So there's some highlights from today. There was several others, but those are the ones I've chosen because I want to get into the watch list video and then start my evening. So back to the SPY. Again, kind of a narrow range day. What are we watching for tomorrow? Oh, you know what? I also want to highlight, I thought Jane made an interesting call. We had CAN, C-A-N on watch. She called it red to green. So just to show you what it looked like, remember, this is what it looked like when Jane called it. We had yesterday's high above. Sellers come in on this opening 5-minute candle. It just starts to curl back up. She calls it red to green, which just means through the open. Over 352, then the high of day, then you've got yesterday's high above, and it took out all those catalysts. So it doesn't look like much, but 352 went over 380. I mean, it's a good 10% move in what, about 10 minutes? Really nice heads up by Jane. So, all right, let's get to the watch list for tomorrow. Sun W, quiet inside day. Maybe, let's see, today's high was 389. We'll see where it opens tomorrow, but maybe over 389 if it opens below that, because that's a break of today's high. Or maybe through 4, knowing that yesterday's high was 415. There's another potential catalyst right above, right? So that one's on watch. HYLN. You have this really beating up electric vehicle maker. Then the bounce and sideways action. And today it's trying to see the extra volume, trying to break out above that 25 level. And you know what? It held above that. So I want to watch for a continuation day tomorrow on that one. TIGR. Kind of had a bullish engulfing candle. Let's watch that one again. Nice call by Kevin M through 6 today. It didn't rip, but from 6 it went to 620. A decent little trade. If anyone took it, I didn't take that one. AHT. This one's interesting to me. My only problem with it, it's a return reopening play, like the world's reopening, but all I hear in the news is every place is closing. So I'm kind of on the fence about this one, but I like the chart a lot. You had this big volume day here that topped out at 535, pulled back, then gapped up yesterday with an indecision candle, and then today right back up near that 2-day high. 449 yesterday, 449 today, so maybe through 450 tomorrow. But we got to see how the reopening plays do. So the world's weird right now. I think we would all agree, right? GP had an inside day after the big pop yesterday. They make electric buses, I think, in Canada. But interesting, right? It might follow some of the other EV plays. It's already had, I think, its biggest volume day ever yesterday, and today an inside day. So certainly worth watching. KSS is Kohl's, and kind of breaking out above most recent highs. You had this one high back here in June. That was 29.34. What was today's high? 29.42. So it actually briefly broke that. Anyway, looking for a continuation day. Nice volume today. Looking for a continuation day tomorrow in KSS. NETE, I believe, has been lumped in as an electric vehicle play also. And let's see, it popped here to 946. Then today hit 950, closing at 919. We got a half number inflection point possible tomorrow and kind of a breakout over all this recent trading, but you also have a bunch of bag holders from back here. So I don't love it, but if the EV space is going, NETE is a pretty whippy stock, but it can also move really nicely at times. So I like that through 950 tomorrow, assuming everything else lines up. RVP, kind of a sleeper pick because it generally doesn't move that much, but good volume today for the stock and kind of in breakout territory. So that's sort of a sleeper pick for me. KIRK, another retailer like Kohl's, curling up here. Nice volume. Don't love it, but I'm going to watch it. NKLA, this one just an inside day. It was already on the watch list after it topped out yesterday at 22.95. Today's high, 22.80. So it's not a beautiful chart, but it does have support below, and that space is hot. So we're going to watch it. Whoops, I typed that wrong. APWC. It goes on long watch. It had this big pop, then the inside day, and really today, briefly near the end of the day, took out yesterday's high. In after hours, right now it's trading at 255. It went up over 280 at one point in after hours. So we'll see if it's still gapping in the morning. It could be a morning gap play. We'll see, right? Candy, KNDI, I already talked about the call and the teamwork for that trade today in chat. Closing well off of its highs, but again, it's in the right space. So we're going to keep our eyes on that one, electric car maker. It has, you could argue though, it's been running really since it hit 6 down here. I think they did an offering and it's curled back up and then took out recent highs. So to me, it's a little extended. I'd like to see it come in for a day or 2 or 3, who knows. Mara is deemed to be a Bitcoin play. Bitcoin's on fire. And it tends to run with Riot. So I'm going to show you Riot. Huge breakout today in Riot, right? I mean, that's a massive breakout. And you go back to Mara and you could argue, hey, this has a ways to go compared to Riot. That's sort of my simple thinking on it. I'm a day trader. I don't overthink things. I play the chart and the order flow and all that. So I may or may not trade this tomorrow, but it certainly had strong volume and closing near a recent high. So looking for a continuation day tomorrow. And lastly, MDLY. The only reason this is on watch is in after hours, it's trading at 8:32. I couldn't find any news. It actually went to 10. So if it's still gapping in the morning and maybe some news comes out, it's a little bit interesting. All right, that's enough. I've babbled long enough. We'll see you guys in chat in the morning.